Welcome to Lauren DeLaguna. I am Lauren, and this is Jury Deliberations, Gantstar v. Alex. I was supposed to put this out yesterday, but after the 5 grueling hours of deliberations, I was exhausted and I needed some time to recoup. So I did that. I took time to recoup. Anyway, you should probably watch Gantstar v. Alex, the Law and Order episode, before you watch this. This is going to be a jury deliberation. So people sat and watched the Gantstar v. Alex live, and then afterwards they deliberated and they came to a conclusion as to whether or not Alex was guilty of either fraud or neglect. These are the 2 charges alleged against him. I'm going to preface this with nobody is an attorney. Nobody here this is a fake court, fake trial, mock trial. I'm not an attorney yet. I did pass the bar recently and I was admitted in Arizona, but I am waiting to swear in. So still have a process, but I am not an attorney yet and there is no attorney here. So this was not a real case. And Gantstar has had no experience in the legal field. Furthermore, as you'll see, somebody claims to be an attorney early on in the episode, and we find out later he's clearly not an attorney. So just beware. Also, I think there is a part during the jury deliberations where I step in for a second to talk to the jurors. And because I'm dealing with people live, waiting for the jury to come to a decision and the jury room at the same time, the audio gets a little wonky and I forgot to take myself off the screen for a second. So that's going to happen midway through the video. So I'm just going to explain that now. But I actually haven't watched the full jury deliberations yet. So I am making this intro before having watched it fully through. And I'm really excited to see what comes of it. I know the answer, I know the results, but I'm excited to see how they got there and determine whether or not they really thought through this fairly and gave people a fair shot. So let's see. Bye. Thanks for being here. Click like and subscribe. Now, when I leave, I want you guys to just make your deliberations, and I'm not going to be here. So go ahead, have a good time, and I won't be able to hear.
Okay. It says negligence is a legal concept that refers to a failure to exercise the level of care that a reasonably prudent person, I think I said that right, person would have exercised in similar circumstances. In the context of law, negligence is the type of civil wrong tort that can result in a legal liability if it causes harm or injury to another person or their property. To establish a claim of negligence, generally 4 elements need to be demonstrated. 1, duty of care. The defendant, the person accused of negligence, owed a legal duty of care to the plaintiff, the person who suffered harm. Breach of duty. The defendant failed to fulfill the duty of care owed to the plaintiff. This could involve an action that a reasonable person would have not taken, or a failure to take an action that a reasonable person would have taken. Causation. The defendant's breach of duty was a direct cause of the plaintiff's injury or harm. In other words, there must be a clear link between the negligent conduct and the resulting damages. The plaintiff suffered actual harm or damages as a result of the defendant's negligence. This harm can be physical, financial, or emotional. Negligence cases can arise from various contexts, such as car accidents, medical malpractice. Yeah. Sorry, what? I was almost done. I was like last sentence, but that's okay. We get the idea.
Okay. Yeah. As far as duty of care, I don't believe he had a duty of care.
It is kind of, there is a duty of care to, like, hey, if you're on a website called Seeking Arrangements, you have a duty of care to
The negligence is in regard to Aspen, though. I believe.
Okay. Well,
Okay, can we talk about the easy one first, the fraud?
The
Because I
fraud?
think the fraud one is pretty.
Yeah, the fraud one's
compelling.
easy, I think.
Okay, so Gantstar is accusing Alex of being a fraud. The friend was actually they're claiming that he essentially used his status, but is leveraging having used Alex's product and made it essentially and then basically said that he relied on using whatever so-and-so app like Tinder or something. But the reality is that he was using seeking arrangements, he was paying for one-way flights, and there's one more thing there. And so Alex has substantiated he's filled in all of the blanks and has basically demonstrated with that video that all the information was out there. So it kind of seems like a stupid.
Yeah, the only thing that would kind of work towards Gangstar's claim is the fact that on it said no PPM but will financially assist. However, I don't believe that would be fraudulent on Alex's part just because the PE man decided that he would add that to his profile. If that's not... Go ahead.
Are there any like physical like numbers of like any type of damages when we say these things? Like,
no.
Who is the one who is suffering from these claims?
If he would have presented anybody who has paid for the service and not got the expected results, then they would be the aggrieved party. But there is no one that was presented that they believe that didn't receive the end result.
Were people paying for this coach?
Yes, I believe so.
No, well, it's essentially how Alex is marketing his product. The guy who was buying the flights or whatever had used his product, and so they're basically saying like, well, you didn't really. They're basically saying it's all money. The product doesn't work, right? So
yeah, but money makes it work, and they're just being deceptive about what they were using, right?
Wait, okay, yeah,
like they're how to attain the result. Like, yeah, they're arriving at the result that they want, or showcasing this result of their product, but it's like a person who's like advertising for Weight Watchers but simultaneously like taking those new diet medications.
Yeah, the diabetes medication.
And then the way they're measuring them too is like they put like getting women on Tinder on such a weird pedestal that how is like the rest of society supposed to acknowledge that it's a coveted thing to be able to like pull women on Tinder versus seeking arrangement where the money's implied? But like we are not, like we don't operate in that currency, neither does like most of society. And so it feels like so stupid to me for him to be making a claim that he's a fraud because he doesn't fit like this narrow expectation that he has created.
From my understanding, in order for it to be fraud, Alex would have had to say, which he does, I believe, that he teaches a no money way of getting women, and then going and telling him to use his money to get women once they're in the program. That would be fraudulent.
Yeah.
But that isn't substantiated in this case.
It would be interesting to get like a testimony from the women who were flown out to places and like what exactly from their perception, what they, thought that they were going to get versus what they got. That kind of thing. Like, are any of them still together? No, I don't think so.
Or if they felt like there was an expectation on them when they
But
showed
again,
up,
that's on the prosecution to bring. Like, they needed to bring more evidence to prove that it was fraudulent because none of the evidence that they brought actually showed fraud.
Well, it is a fraud though, because it's a misrepresentation
on
and
Alex's
deception.
part or on PE Man's part.
Well, I don't understand why PE Man, like, I feel like it's kind of like an ego thing. I don't understand why he's saying, like, as if he's the one who's, suffering damages from this.
Well, that's why I find it weird, because, like, they keep bringing up what PE Man's doing, not what Alex is telling him to do, because that's what would make Alex a fraud versus PE Man a fraud. PE Man might be a fraud in all of this and be presenting that he's having success due to Alex's program, but actually just be paying women. That doesn't matter for whether Alex is a fraud or not. That just would say that PE Man is a fraud.
I think that they're working together because they're friends. And, bros over hoes. Like, he's going to be like, yeah, this is my guy. Like, that's why he's playing stupid when he's like, oh, I think that, she really wanted to get a job on Seeking Arrangements. Like, what kind of, like, how stupid do you have to be to, like, not understand that, like, that was a passive aggressive way to request money. If you are on Seeking Arrangement, you're not on Seeking Arrangement to seek employment.
See, I don't know anything about these Seeking Arrangement things.
I mean,
just
this
going
is
by what I'm
from
seeing.
somebody who knows, because, like, I've been on these, like, websites, and it's like there's these implied meaning. Like, when you think of a sugar baby, what do you think of? Like, there's certain expectations
that come with doing that.
Yeah. So if you're, like, literally on a website that is designed and tailored towards that particular dynamic, that's, fraud. If you're saying that you can, you can take care of these women and you actually do not have the financial means, that's, financial fraud. But it would be really interesting to have a testimony from one of the girls.
Well, yeah, I.
But again, absent that, I can't.
But I mean, this is coming from firsthand from somebody who has been on these websites before, and it's like,
I believe you.
But it's like, what exactly were they trying to? Their motives for being like? So they're trying to sell their dating coach program? Is that what this product is?
It's game. Apparently, it teaches game.
Yeah, it's like
how to talk to women.
Like a how-to program or something.
But have any of the men in this, gaming, or it's like pickup artist type thing?
Kind of, yeah.
So have any of the men actually applied this and been damaged somehow from using it?
Not with any proof. All the proof that was presented, the only proof that was presented was positive results from the program. There were no negatives. Nobody stated that they had a bad experience with the program.
Yeah, based on what we have seen tonight, we don't have any reason to believe that it doesn't work. But obviously, we're like human beings, so we're not naive. So we know not everyone is having a positive experience. But yeah.
But none of the victims have came forward.
Yeah, but that's what the prosecution needs to show. Like, they have the burden of proof in it, not the defense. Like, honestly, bringing people out to attest to it working properly wasn't even necessary, because nobody was saying that it didn't work. So there was no reason to
What about the person who is,
that.
The plaintiff, the one who
he didn't claim to have used the product.
He just claimed that other people were suffering.
He just doesn't like the way he's doing it. I'm guessing is the way I understand it is he feels that the man is being fraudulent, and he's here on behalf of other people who he didn't get to come on to speak against it, which is strange to me. But at the same time, I don't think he was properly prepared.
Yeah, I mean, you have to bring something if you're trying to accuse someone of something. So that makes it. I mean, not that I think that Alex is innocent, but it's like you can't.
But for me, I can't.
Yeah.
Convict him of fraud based on what was presented whatsoever. While it may be there, I have to be able to. There has to be proof of it, and none was presented, in my opinion.
I think I agree. I think that he's presented some really solid narratives, but again, the proof is like the important element.
And again, we're not saying he's innocent. We're just saying he's not guilty of what's being charged to him.
Yeah, you're innocent until proven guilty,
Yeah.
and they didn't
They did
prove
not
that
reach
he's
the
guilty.
burden of proof. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean,
so
do we think that he's a good person? No.
that is not what I'm here to attest to, but
Yeah.
I have my questions.
Yeah, no, in the court of law, like in, actual court, I think that
No.
a real judge would have thrown this case out immediately instead
Well,
of
yeah.
wasted 4 hours on
Probably,
this.
probably would have been ruled a mistrial from the beginning, but
Yeah.
That's why it got taken on YouTube, I guess.
yeah,
All right.
exactly.
I mean,
do you guys...
it's props to Lauren for being so patient with these men.
I agree.
Yes.
Especially with like all the sideways comments of sub 5 judge and things like that. Like, hey,
I was dying.
fuck. I mean, it made me laugh my ass off.
I
Don't
tuned
get me
out
wrong,
for a
but
while, and then I came back and they're still talking about the same thing. Like,
I was laughing my ass off. This is
honestly,
so
the
good.
Aspen stuff was kind of interesting,
I
to
think
say
I
the
mentioned
least.
Negligence, right?
Yeah, this was for negligence.
Time out quickly. So are we saying not guilty on the first one?
we're
I
saying
would
not
have to say
guilty, but
not
I didn't
guilty,
even like
correct.
get all the evidence because I was like,
Okay.
ADD.
Yeah.
But
I
so
understand.
tell me
second
about this
one.
Aspen shit.
Yeah. This is the
So,
one.
as far as the negligence, you read what the negligence, what needs to be proven. If there was a duty of care, if the duty of care was breached, if there was harm, and if there was damages. All 4 of these things need to be present in order to find guilty of negligence, according to what you read.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as I know, he had a minor on a dating show who was Aspen. Alex states that he didn't know she was underage, and she confirms that he wouldn't know she was underage, and supposedly Fit and Fearless didn't know that he was underage. I do believe that he should be obligated to at least ask if you're underage, which wasn't questioned at all, whether or not she was asked and denied whether she was under 18 or if she just never was asked, which if she was just never asked, then that's kind of irresponsible on his part.
That should be one of the first things that you ask when you're dating someone.
100%. Well, now
On
this
your
wasn't,
dating site, yeah.
they
this
weren't
was-
dating, and this was just for a speed dating show where nobody ever has physical content or anything. They just ask questions or whatever.
Yeah, but it's still
Still weird. I still don't like it. Don't get me wrong.
So,
I'm
like
not-
you have to know, like at least if they look really young, you should ask.
We'll put it in the context of like your business. You look at like, if this is his business as he says it is, then he has to look at like
His YouTube is
like
his business.
insurance. Yeah, that's what like.
Okay,
his
so he's
side
a
hustle or
YouTube
whatever.
pickup artist coach.
okay, so
Okay,
now,
but so
I have a
wait,
question for
so
you
I just want to
two.
quickly say this out quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, like if this is his business, like if you're like a rock climbing place, you're gonna obviously talk to your lawyers and get like waivers because people are gonna like fuck shit up in your business and potentially like kill themselves. So if your
It's called an
business and your
arbitration
vulnerability,
agreement. Yeah.
exactly, if your vulnerability is that a minor could be participate in one of your like adult date oriented activities, then you should have something there to adjust that. And so that to me feels like that's where I kind of feel like it's negligent.
Well, I mean, a lot of people though learn by just trial and error, and then maybe something really terrible needs to happen in order for him to be like, oh, maybe I should get a liability waiver or something.
Mm-hmm. I think a liability waiver would be a good thing. I don't know exactly how this would be ruled in a court of law, obviously, for if he needs one or not.
That's like when you're on a TV show, though, that's like probably one of the first things that they ask you for is like identification.
I do believe if any harm was to come to her for this, he absolutely would be held liable in some way. If like say somebody she met on the dating show, and then they would go out on a date or whatever.
Oh, if
and
it's a minor,
anything happened,
even
he
emotional damages,
would be held responsible for sure.
Anything would be held responsible. If you are dealing with a minor, they're like, they could suffer emotional damages, say they have emotional damages, and you're still liable.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that's very concerning is at some point she asks something about, well, what if he sends me an ugly dick pic? And he jokingly responds to her, well, then I'll send you a good dick pic.
Right, in the shower thing. Yeah.
And this was before he knew?
This was before he knew she was a minor and when she was still a minor. Now, granted, once he found out she was a minor, he barred her from participating in a show until she was at least over 18.
Yeah.
So there is one responsible thing that he did, but what he did before that, I don't know if that fixes that.
I don't think so. I think it should be one of, if that is your business and you are a pickup con artist and you're selling this product, it's probably something you should, even get to communicate to the people who are taking your advice.
Like so I also think another element is like not necessarily maliciously, but trying to like shift accountability and saying like it's his business, right? But he's got people doing like scouting or whatever, reaching out to participants. And so it's like, if you have people working underneath you,
you have
under your brand, you better fucking make sure that you can trust them to like ask the right questions and to filter people appropriately, right? And so he is ultimately responsible for anybody who works under him.
Absolutely.
Because it's incumbent on him that he addresses those things before they happen.
Yeah, it's his brand.
Mm-hmm.
Those are his marketing people. Like, it's essentially the same. Like if a business like Starbucks were to like post pornography of a child, Starbucks would be liable, not the person who posted it.
Can you hear me now? Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
I think the negligence is in like not sussing, like not providing clear criteria for his scouts or whatever, and making sure that they are, like I said, asking the right questions. And because he didn't do that, it's not necessarily, he's not like a terrible person for this, but it's like, it is negligent. You gotta protect your business.
So in a tort law, a duty of care is a legal obligation that is imposed on an individual requiring adherence to a standard of reasonable care to avoid careless acts that could foreseeably harm others and lead to claim in negligence. It is the first element that must be established. So would you say that is established? Just to go through these point by point.
No.
Can you break it? Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, not a problem. So first we're starting with duty of care. Does Alex have a duty of care is the question.
Yes.
Duty of care is a legal obligation that is imposed on an individual requiring adherence to a standard of reasonable care to avoid careless acts that could foreseeably harm others and lead to claim in negligence.
Yes, COPA.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
The one that you sign when you click the link, is this for kids? Yes or no?
So
we have to say no. So yes, he is definitely.
Okay, so the next one, was he in breach of his duty of care? So did he breach that? Is it something that he failed to do? Oh, you have it there. Got it.
Yeah. Well, some of it wouldn't let me post it all.
So we all do agree that he did have a duty of care. Yes, correct?
Yeah, if you are posting something, you are in charge.
Okay. And then did he breach his duty of care?
Yes. Well, he's just like, he shouldn't be hosting something if he has no like concept of how this could affect other people, what he's doing.
Yeah. Another thing too is like people always talk about victims, but part of the victims in this situation would honestly be the like men that come on to talk to Aspen in this circumstance, because it's like you're not like they're walking into a crime and they don't know it. So it's like Aspen is definitely someone that should be like.
I believe he breaches his duty of care to those people even more than he breaches his duty of care to Aspen, because he's setting them up.
We know that now at the time. Like, we know that now because she has made it very clear that she doesn't really give a shit.
But he should. he's responsible for vetting her, so therefore they're not, because they're going to his show as the business owner, the person who's in charge.
Yeah, they should be vetting. Yeah, they went there to date adults.
Yes.
And yes, okay. And that's not even like.
So I would say he's in breach of his duty. Correct.
I mean, if you're teaching people how to drive, you should at least ask if they have a driver's license before you teach them how to drive.
Sheesh, yeah.
Okay. So on to the third point. Was there a harm?
Yeah, well, potentially it's foreseeability. It could have caused harm.
Well, and also, did they prove harm? That's
They didn't prove harm.
That's where I have an issue.
I don't think it caused harm because they didn't prove it.
I think there's I don't know how many people she talked to, but there's probably a group of guys out there that are fucking pissed that they got into a situation like this and that they talked or, was talking to somebody that was underage. They can't feel good about that, and they must know. So it's like,
I agree.
They're not at fault, and they would probably be pretty frustrated. And so for that reason, I would regard them as victims.
While I agree with you completely, I don't believe that the prosecution proved harm in any way.
Yeah, and I think that if you're
that
going
is
to
a slight problem for me, but
okay, wait.
Well, that's the unfortunate part about the legal system
thing,
is you have to actually have the harm in order to sue somebody for it.
Yes. And you technically also need damages, but not really in this because we're not really suing for damages. So the damage part isn't that important.
Well, that would be part of the harm.
Yeah. Well, damages usually refers to monetary loss or something like that. In civil cases, at least. But that's not necessary in what we're doing.
Well,
now.
Emotional damages could be a thing, but it's not really. If nobody came forward, you don't have a case, really.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is if somebody if I accidentally get implicated in a crime, I'm not going to be fucking happy about it. I'm going to be super pissed, right?
True.
So
are you gonna stay silent about it?
Wait. Let me. Okay, never mind. Yeah, you're right. He didn't demonstrate that. I'm saying that.
Correct.
He was too stupid to not figure that out.
So I honestly feel that the prosecution was negligent in their duty to prove harm, but because of that, I can't say guilty of negligence because there is no proven harm.
There's no proven harm, but he is proven liar.
Yeah, I have an issue with what happened, and I would speak against it, but at the same time, as far as legality, which is what we're ruling on, there's no harm proven, so the burden of proof hasn't been reached. So I'd have to say, in my opinion, it's not guilty on either charge, but he's also not innocent.
Well, I mean, fraud, I feel like is more prevalent than negligence, because he's selling something that is representing something else.
I don't think he demonstrated enough for the fraud. That's why I say he's not. Personally, okay, my vote on that one is that he's not guilty. On the other one, I think that I would say guilty, just based on on principle, basically, just the fact that these violations and these protections exist and that he violated it, and that I don't necessarily
Public
agree
policy.
that the harm has to be demonstrated. I feel like
well, I mean, that's
the notice is that there were.
It stated that harm needs to be present.
Well, public policy considerations, duty of care can also be influenced by public policy considerations. For example, certain professionals may have a heightened duty due to the potential impact of their actions on public safety. That's
correct. I agree he breached the duty of care, but there's still no harm that's been proven.
Well, that wouldn't wouldn't that be like harm to the public by basically having people come on your show and like interview people they think are adults that are actually minors?
No, because again, the harm wasn't proven. And you're welcome to tell me I'm wrong and explain how the prosecution proved harm. But
it's like
as
no,
it
but
stands, there
based
is
on the
no
things,
proven harm. We can
Okay,
assume
so-
harm, but that's not our job.
So what was provided in the case? Like, what would we need? Like, this is what I need to see for to stay on this. So basically, I think that he needs to communicate some level of like control or oversight. Like, he needs to tell us what level of like how involved is he in the decision making of how people are brought onto the show. That's number one. And then number two, like if he's had any like preventative measures or anything that he's done in the past to maybe make sure that there hasn't been a minor on or there won't be a minor on. And he didn't say that.
But the thing is, it's not on him. The burden of proof isn't on him. It's on the prosecution.
But that's fine. But based on like I think my guilty whatever is based on like the facts of the case.
Yeah, here, let me read this to you. It's like 2 sentences. It says, while duty of care is a crucial element in a negligence claim, a successful lawsuit generally requires not only the existence of the duty, but also the breach of that duty, causation, and actual harm or damages suffered by the plaintiff.
And also, you have to consider
the plaintiff definitely has no harm.
Yeah, so you can't like that. It needs both elements. You can't just be like, well, it could have happened. Like, you need to actually have done something to cause damages. Like, you can't just go into like, so say you buy a hot coffee and you don't burn your mouth, but you could have potentially, like, that's not going to hold up in court. You know, like your doctor, while he was operating on you, could have potentially killed you, but they didn't. You know?
But the harm occurred though, right?
What?
But what?
What harm was presented?
That she was on a show where people were speed dating.
No, what harm
So she was
to the
speed
plaintiff?
dating an adult.
We don't even know who the victims are because there was no evidence of anybody suffering from this.
Nobody claimed harm.
Had somebody came forward and said that, even if they were like,
this emotionally scarred me because I
Yeah.
didn't realize I was speed dating a minor. If somebody came on and said that, sure.
or if they went to jail for it or something.
Well, yeah, that would be a true harm. But I mean, even if it's something as small as just saying, yeah, it made me freak out because I found out I speed dated a minor. If they were able to present even something like as small as that,
Yeah.
I'd be able to say, yes, there was a harm. But they have nothing. They have no claim of any harm that anyone foresee. The only thing we can do is speculate a harm, and they have to have proven it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe that harm could have and probably was done, but at the same time, they didn't present any harm.
Okay, but then are we not also simultaneously having to accept that Aspen is not just post-rationalizing?
Well,
Like, doesn't that implied in like us?
You would have
saying
to have
that
somebody.
he's
You would have to
not
have somebody
guilty?
at least state that. Nobody stated. We're just the jury. We're not like.
I mean, the channel's still up on YouTube, right? I think that YouTube as a platform has a larger legal obligation to ensure the public safety. So if they're allowing it to still exist, there's obviously not cause for concern. If they didn't remove, like, are the videos still up?
No, but they had those specific.
Oh, so
ones,
he
and I don't
removed
think
them.
She was
So
well,
that's
no,
something.
but she wasn't even underage in the videos they showed, I guess. So.
Oh, but even on the speed dating thing?
They
Yeah, I'm
didn't
not
show
sure, that
any
was
speed
unclear.
dating that had her. The only thing that they showed when she was underage was her bantering with Alex about the dick pic. That's the only thing they showed when she was actually underage.
So she turned 18 during the speed dating event?
So, well, the speed dates that they had pulled up that they didn't actually watch, they just kept jumping through them. And she's like, I was 18 in this one. I was over 18 in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we should I think he's innocent, but if it like continues to happen,
Well,
then
I don't know if
would
he's
be
innocent,
guilty.
but he's not guilty.
Well, he's not. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like in
I
the
know.
in this particular circumstance, like I don't think that he should be like if I think it would be unethical to prosecute somebody who had never had any damages to anybody.
I think he's guilty. I think if you drink and drive and you make it home and no one dies or whatever, it's still fucked up that you drank and drive. Like,
Oh yeah, but if you don't get pulled over,
but you still have to prove that. Somebody would have to prove that you drank and drove.
Yeah, you would have to get pulled over and have to take a sobriety test.
And also, this literally states an actual harm or damages need to be presented.
Like some kind of.
Anyways, I'm going guilty. If you guys are assuming,
then we're hung and we can't go back. We have to keep deliberating until we all agree.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not like by vote.
No.
Is that what Lauren said?
Well, that's not how juries work. You have to agree.
I know. Well, I mean, then we have to convince.
We have to either convince Neve.
What makes you think? So one of the key elements of having a case that involves these things, like you would have to show damages. What damages are proven besides potential damages?
Okay, but the damages you're talking about after like the crime is committed, right? And then wait.
Yeah, because you're innocent until you're proven guilty. In order to be proven guilty, you have to have evidence of being guilty. It's like one of those things. Like, yeah, the motive could have been there, but if they didn't actually act on it, you can't prove shit. Like same with like if somebody goes into the store and they steal something and then they leave the store and then they get arrested and they're like, oh, I didn't even realize it was in my bag. Like you can't prove that they knew that they were stealing.
But so we know that it happened. Why is it wrong for us to just like, not us specifically, but like the state will persecute people on principle. Like you broke a fucking law. Like domestic violence, basically, and they show up at your house and stuff. They like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but that's not negligence.
If you think it is or you
hold
don't
on.
think it is.
Different laws have different procedures.
Okay, but what exactly are you referring to when it comes to domestic violence? What?
I'm saying that the way that they.
Hold on, Lauren.
Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. I have like two things. I have two things going at once. I don't know how to. I don't know how to like
mute one and not the other.
Can you guys stop talking just for 1 second? Oh, hold on. Can you guys be quiet just for 1 second? I need to. Yeah, they can't hear you, but I can hear both of you at the same time, and I can't turn off this. Oh, actually, you know what? Actually, you can keep talking. Keep talking. You're good. Never mind. No, wait. I didn't figure it out. Actually, shut up just for 1 second. Just for 1 second. Okay. Okay, jurors, do you have any questions for me?
What do we need a like we all have to have the same answer, or is it just a majority?
I'd like you guys to have the same answer if possible. If it's a hung jury, let me know. How close are you guys to a decision?
2-1 on one of the charges. All three agree on the other.
Yeah. I mean,
okay. Then try to come up with a unanimous decision within the next 10 minutes, if not.
Okay.
Question on the negligence. Do all four have to be present in order to reach a guilty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. All four.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. Okay. Go ahead. I'm back. Go ahead.
But now we hear you. Get out of here.
10
All right,
minutes. I told
apparently
them they
she's
have
still
10
listening.
minutes and they're already free.
Oh,
They've
she
already
doesn't know
decided on who
either.
the charges and
So,
they are.
And we can't mute her, but so we just have to ignore her.
Hold on.
So I still believe
Okay,
that.
she
Okay,
left.
there we go. So I still believe there's no harm, so we can't
yeah,
say
there's no-
guilty.
it's literally like being like if somebody buys a gun but they don't use it, you can't prosecute them for murder.
Yeah, but the crime in that case would be someone picking up the gun and shooting someone. The crime in this case is
that
having a
would be
minor on your
damages.
show.
No,
when
the
you're
crime
not
isn't
supposed to
having a
have
minor on your show. No, that is not the crime. The crime is negligence. Negligence requires 4 things: duty of care, breach of duty of care, harm, and damages.
Yeah, he wasn't.
We have 2 out of the 4. We don't have the other 2.
But that wasn't part of the claim. It wasn't like this is a child endangerment claim. And then even if it was, the child or, the minor who's now an adult would have to testify and be like, this is what caused damages to me type thing.
If it was exploitation of a minor, I might say yes.
Yeah. Well,
But
the dick picture, that
Yeah,
is exploitation. That is. So.
yeah, I agree. He
But
definitely
that's not-
did
he wasn't
offer to
him,
send
was it?
pornographic material. No, it was Alex.
Offered to.
But
He offered to, but it's
but again, that's not the charge.
Yeah.
And I don't
Let's-
know,
yeah.
and we
Let's
also
just get
don't
him
even
on
know
that
if one
charge.
has ever been sent.
But he offered to. Yeah, I guess it's
So
not sending.
therefore, again, there's no harm. If nothing was ever sent, there's technically no harm.
Yeah.
So without an element of harm being presented and proven, I don't believe we can reach a guilty. If you disagree, hurry up and say something.
No,
I do
you're
disagree. I do disagree.
Well, you still
I absolutely
disagree.
do.
Okay, so
I think
if
the
you
implication is strong enough. I think the reason the case happens is because there was a minor on a show who shouldn't have been on the show.
but that
right?
wasn't what they're. That's not even what the
That's
argument
fine, but
was
it's
for.
You're
but
arguing
it's
for the wrong
obvious.
It's
Yes,
obvious.
He did something
absolutely,
wrong, but not what's being presented.
yeah, as far as this case is concerned, this is what they were prosecuting for. They were not prosecuting for anything involving children.
We're not here to make a moral judgment of did Alex do a fucky wucky.
No,
if that
I'm just
was so,
saying
then
that's
yes, I
just
would
a fact
agree.
of the case. That's just a fact of the case.
Yeah,
though.
but
And
it's
But he's-
not.
by
It's
stating
not a
that.
fact of the case,
But he's
though, because
not
he didn't
guilty
present
of
it. He didn't
negligence.
present
It
it, though.
literally
We
is.
presented it. We pulled it out of our
Okay.
asses.
Okay, how is it? No, the whole reason for having the case is the implication. The fact
Okay.
that they're deliberating.
If you can
it
show me
at
where the
all
lawyer
is the
stated,
implication.
if you can show me somewhere from what we watched today where they stated damages or harm that was done,
Yeah, the plaintiff
would change my
suffered
mind.
actual harm, injury, or financial loss. Did any of those things happen?
not only did they not prove any damages or harms, they didn't even state any or claim any.
Actual harm, injury, or financial loss. Did any of those elements, were they involved in this case? It's not a trick question.
No, I'm actually thinking about it.
But why are you thinking about
Or are
it's
you just
black
reading
and white?
chat?
It's are there damages? Did somebody get hurt? Did somebody suffer harm? Not hypothetically speaking, did an actual person suffer or financial loss?
I know you guys are gonna hate me for this, but I think that
Who suffered the damages then?
it's the potential for harm, and I think
It's not the
like,
potential.
It
It's
says
not the potential.
Actual
I think-
harm,
no,
injury, or
I-
financial loss. Actual. That's
It
the
is
key
my
word.
no, but it is my actual belief that the potential for harm is enough for me.
But it's not. That's not how the law
Yeah,
works.
Yeah, you're innocent
You're
until
not the one
proven
writing the
guilty. In
law.
order to
Then
be proven
then-
guilty, you
then
have
we're
to.
hung.
You have,
Then we're hung.
No, that's
no. No harm, no foul. That's
why
what that
would you-
means. The concept of no harm, no foul is relevant in this context. To succeed in a negligence lawsuit, the plaintiff typically needs to demonstrate the following elements: duty of care, breach of duty, causation, damages. All 4 of those things need to be there, not potential of damages.
you have to prove that somebody did
need to have
harm in order
damages.
to like hold them liable. I know this is an internet thing and technically nothing's going to come to him, but if you are saying that he's guilty without them providing proof of some kind of harm or damages, you would be possibly condemning
it's
not
illegal.
an innocent man to.
Okay, but based on what I have seen today on the screen, what has been said to me is enough for me to believe that Andrew is negligent. That's why I'm not moving
but
on.
Show
did
me
his
the harm.
negligence cause damages? Yes, he's
Sorry?
negligent. Yes, we all agree on that. Was there damages as a result of his negligence? Not potential for damages, actual physical or financial or emotional. Did anyone present those things to you?
He's guilty.
Guilty of what? Of hypothetical
Neve,
damages.
are you just memeing to make this take longer? Because
No.
This is scary though. This is very scary because like imagine if you were in that person's shoes and somebody is accusing you of harming a minor and you know like you didn't know. You can't be like that to people. Like that's not how the legal system works. It's justice. Causation and actual harm, not hypothetical harm, not intention to harm.
do you have something
harm.
to try to sway us to your side, or do you just want to be hung on this?
No, I understand where you're coming from, and I don't think that he's an innocent person, but like he's not a guilty person either. He's just an idiot.
Okay. In my deliberation, I'm supposed to factor things that Andrew says, or excuse me, Alex says, and things that Gantar say, right? Both things. No?
Correct.
Okay. Based on what Alex said alone, I feel like that has been
What exactly?
a pretty big part of it.
What's the harm? And who presented it?
Alex did himself by saying it was a speed dating show and having a minor on there.
What's the harm? Who was harmed?
Well, is Aspen only not harmed because she says she wasn't?
Well, we can't be like you are actually a victim.
Nobody has stated. Not one person on there stated that Aspen was harmed.
Okay. Personal injury, property damage, financial loss, defamation, breach of contract. Those are the five different contexts of harm in the legal genre. To successfully pursue a legal action, a plaintiff generally needs to demonstrate that not only the defendant had a duty of care or contractual obligation, but also that the defendant's actions or breach of duty directly resulted in measurable harm. What is measurable harm? In legal terms, harm refers to actual injury, damage, loss, or detriment suffered by an individual or entity. Harm is a crucial element in various legal contexts, particularly in tort law, where individuals may seek compensation for injuries or damages caused by wrongful actions of others. The concept of harm is central to criminal law, contract law, and other areas.
My mind is made, guys.
It says it involves some negative consequence or adverse effect. Here are some common types of harm. Personal injury. What personal injury was suffered? What property damage occurred?
It's a Mexican standoff.
No, just I'm trying. Give me an example of actual things that are measurable harm damages. Just one actual harm that you can measure. Financial loss, defamation, breach of contract, personal injury, property damage. Do any of those things happen? Okay, let me ask you this, hypothetically speaking. If you believe that there are damages, what are you asking for as a result of those damages? Like, and how did you get that number or whatever it is that you're going to ask for? If you're suing someone, or in this case, you're suing for damages, how much are you suing for, and why are you suing for that suing for that amount? Or what do you think that the consequence should be for him as a result of this? And why?
Okay. In the jurisdiction of YouTube Landia, what should the consequence of doing what be?
Whatever you think that this person is guilty of, what do you think his consequences should be and why?
What do I think his consequences should be?
Like what if the judge was like, you're guilty, what should be the punishment for this crime?
I think probably like a week ban or something.
And why? Why a week? How were you able to measure that?
I don't know, seemed like a good number.
Okay, that's not but because you think it's a good number based off of what? Like what makes you think that this person would learn their lesson if they were suspended from YouTube for a week? And what lesson are they trying to learn?
I think they would have ample time to think about the consequences of their actions.
What actions?
And not do it again. Not preventing a minor from coming to your coming on your adult dating show.
Do you think it could have been prevented?
Yes, very
How?
Easily.
So do you think that all YouTube creators should have a screening process for everyone that they recruit on their show?
If your show is a dating show,
okay,
yes,
guys,
absolutely.
So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You guys are still hung up on one question. That's okay. Just come back to only one of you needs to come back to this. I'll give you the link. Hold on. Come back here and then tell us what your results are with the jury. So like say on negligence, we are in agreement that this result, or in fraud, we're not in agreement, it's 2-1 or whatever the results are. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of. You want us to click on another link?
Yeah, I put it in the chat.
Okay.
Okay, jury's coming back now. They didn't come to a conclusive decision on one of them. Okay.
He's waiting for fun with a sub 5, so he wants to rush this, you know what I mean?
Okay. Okay. Okay, juror, can you tell us the results?
For which?
So for negligence.
We think he's a negligent human, but is he guilty of negligence? No, because there was no harm that was demonstrated.
Okay, and that was a unanimous decision?
No.
So that was 2-1.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about fraud?
Fraud? No.
So not guilty?
He's not guilty of anything that, well, hold on, let me get the definition. He did misrepresent, but like as far as measurable outcomes of that misrepresentation, we can't really prove it. So
Okay, thank you so much for your time, and we'll be
Unanimous or no?
Oh, thank you. Good question. Was the last one unanimous?
I forget. I think so.
Yeah.
I think we were all unanimously like, no, this person's not technically a fraud.
Okay. Thank you so much, Juror. I appreciate you.
But you're a piece of shit anyway. Okay, bye.
That's actually really interesting that she thought you were a piece of shit, and she still ruled in your favor. So that does prove that I try to find people that I thought could be non-biased, and she clearly, it's pretty hard to think you're a piece of shit and still find you not guilty on both.
Wonder why she takes that.
I don't really know, and I'll ask her after the show because I'm curious too. But it is anonymous. She can reveal herself after. But I appreciate everyone for being here. I particularly thank the jurors for being here. And yeah, and I hope you guys have a great night. And you guys want to say any last things?
No, if this juror wants to have a discussion about why she thinks I'm a piece of shit, I'm open to it. If you want, you can have lunch. But yeah, fun 5 hours, I guess. Glad that I can be officially declared not a fraud.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Gantstar. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate you. Have a good night. Okay. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Bye. Okay.